Hello friends and welcome back. Today we are unraveling a mystery that could literally shake the foundation of our favorite magical universe. Is Aurelius Dumbledore actually Lord Voldemort's uncle? And if so, what implications could this have? Be sure to stick around to the end where we discuss the potential of Voldemort's secret cousins. I know, sounds kinda tinfoil, but it's totally plausible. First off, why did J.K. Rowling introduce a secret Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts series? Before this, there was no mention of Aurelius, and suddenly he's at the center of a saga involving blood pacts and dark legacies. That's a pretty big deal. There was no Aurelius Dumbledore and there was no blood pact between Albus and Gellert. So both of those are new ideas created specifically for this series. The blood pact helps explain why it took years for Albus to confront Gellert. But then why was Aurelius created? What's J.K. Rowling's greater purpose here? Why is the Fantastic Beasts series literally centered around a completely new character who happens to be a freaking Dumbledore? Aurelius doesn't just bridge a gap between Fantastic Beasts and the original Harry Potter series. His character potentially sets the stage for future stories, both prequels and sequels, teeming with intrigue and magical conflict, especially if he turns out to be related to Lord Voldemort. So on to the burning question, is Aurelius really related to Voldemort? And the answer is, it's possible, and there are clues to support the idea. And those clues are centered around figuring out the identity of Aurelius's mother. Are there any clues or symbols associated with Aurelius that might shed some light on who she is? At the start of the Fantastic Beasts series, we know Aurelius as Credence Barebone. Storytellers do often hide clues in a character's name. The surname Barebone is a subtle, yet direct nod to the wizard's surname Gaunt. An individual who is Gaunt has literally withered down to skin and bare bones. Another major clue that ties Aurelius's mother to House Gaunt is found in Credence's romantic relationship with Nagini. And if you don't believe that they had a relationship, then you really need to go back and watch Crimes of Grindelwald. There are several moments where you can tell there's a tenderness and a fondness between these two characters. This relationship is just subtle enough that J.K. Rowling is setting us up for something major with Nagini down the line. The Gaunts are direct descendants of Salazar Slytherin. They have an affinity for snakes due to their ability to speak Parseltongue, and as we know, Nagini ultimately transforms into a snake. If Aurelius's mother is a Gaunt, then her family might have been displeased that she had a child with Aberforth Dumbledore, who is only a half-blood wizard. This family pressure would force her to send the child to distant family members in America who were more understanding. The Gaunt family does have a very famous connection to Isolde Sayre, who broke away from the Gaunt family to flee to America. Isolde and her husband went on to found Ilvermorny's School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And finally, there's the idea of resurrection. Credence's life is marked by themes of identity, loss, and transformation, which are also central to the Resurrection Stone. The stone is intended to bring back the dead, a concept that is mirrored in Credence's quest for identity and belonging, and his metaphorical resurrection as Aurelius Dumbledore. The Resurrection Stone belonged to Cadmus Peverell, who is buried in Godric's Hollow. He passed the Resurrection Stone down to his descendants who belonged to House Gaunt. To me, all of these clues clearly point to a House Gaunt connection. And it just so happens that we have a mysterious member of the Gaunt family who is unnamed, and very little is known about her. She is the wife of Marvolo Gaunt, and mother to Merope and Morphin. We don't know exactly when she was married to Marvolo, but we do know that she had a child with him in 1907, which means that she could have easily had a child with Aberforth 7 years earlier. The Gaunt family does encourage inbreeding in order to keep their bloodline pure. Their marriages are clearly arranged. So it's easy to imagine a young girl from House Gaunt living in Godric's Hollow and longing for an actual romantic relationship, only to be discovered and separated by her family. Clearly, J.K. Rowling loves featuring the theme of motherhood throughout the Harry Potter series. You've got examples like Lily Potter's sacrifice, Molly Weasley's role as a mother figure, Petunia Dursley's complex relationship with Harry, Narcissa Malfoy's love for Draco, and even Eileen Prince and her influence on Severus Snape. With all these subtle clues and knowing what we know about J.K. Rowling's writing style, it's clear to me that before Aurelius's mother was forced to marry Marvolo Gaunt, she gave birth to Aberforth Dumbledore's son, Aurelius, in the year 1900, which would in fact make him Tom Riddle Jr.'s uncle. You've got Uncle Morphin, and now you've got Uncle Aurelius. And here's where things get even crazier. Voldemort's secret cousin. It's no coincidence that Nagini ends up meeting Voldemort. There's way more to that connection, and I believe it has everything to do with Nagini's child. If you watch Crimes of Grindelwald closely, you can clearly see that Nagini and Aurelius are intimate partners, which caused me to ask the question, could Nagini, the tragic maledictus, actually be carrying Aurelius Dumbledore's child? And I believe the answer is yes. The end of the Crimes of Grindelwald leaves us with a heart-wrenching scene where Aurelius, revealed to be a Dumbledore, coldly turns away from Nagini to join Grindelwald. Fast forward, and Nagini's fate seems to disappear from the storyline in The Secrets of Dumbledore. But what if she is actually carrying the series' biggest secret, a child with Aurelius Dumbledore? Just imagine the implications here. As a maledictus, Nagini is an outcast, and therefore the child's upbringing would most likely be traumatic. In an effort to blend in or stay hidden, both mother and child would suppress their magic, which can be very dangerous. The child's father, Aurelius, developed an obscurial, as did the child's great-aunt Ariana Dumbledore. This child would be very vulnerable, and with Aurelius dead or at least out of the picture, who would be there to protect the child when Nagini can no longer transform back into a human? Not the Dumbledores. They've already abandoned her. So she might try to track down Aurelius's mother, which, as we discussed before, is Marvolo Gaunt's wife. I mean, what happened to her? Did she die? Did she run away and start looking for Aurelius later in life? By 1926, which is the end of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and the birth of Lord Voldemort, she is either no longer alive or she's completely abandoned her family. So by 1927, if Nagini went to find help from the Gaunts, she would realize that Merope is already dead. Her father Marvolo has just died, and Morphin Gaunt is in prison at Azkaban. So the only two family members that might still have some sympathy for a cursed child would be Aurelius's missing mother or Merope's orphaned son. My guess is that Nagini still has many years left until she will permanently turn into a snake. So she either hunts down and finds Marvolo's wife, which would make for a super intriguing story, or she waits until the very last minute, right before she will turn permanently into a snake, and seeks out a powerful Tom Riddle Jr. secretly going by the name Lord Voldemort. I have a full video where I break down the top 3 most likely time periods where Nagini could meet Lord Voldemort in her human form. Be sure to check it out. We know that ultimately Nagini does end up as a Horcrux for Voldemort's soul. Mothers will go to incredible lengths to protect their children. Knowing that, it's easy to see how Nagini might have gone as far as making an unbreakable vow with Voldemort to protect her child. This might explain why she became so loyal to the Dark Lord. How interesting would it be if Lord Voldemort were protecting Nagini's child, who is also Albus Dumbledore's great niece or nephew? And actually, while we're at it, let's make this even more intriguing. What if Nagini had twins, a boy and a girl? The Maledictus curse is passed from mother to daughter, so the girl would literally be a cursed child, and her brother would be desperate to find the cure for his sister. These individuals would be cousins to Lord Voldemort. They would also be almost the same age. This is more than just a theory. It's a potential goldmine for future stories, rich with themes of destiny, legacy, and the complex interplay of family ties in the magical realm. The possibilities here are as endless as they are thrilling.